There is a whisper within you, ancient and unyielding, that speaks not of what you desire but of who you are, and it is in the quiet folds of your being that life is shaped. Not by longing, but by essence, not by the noise of your wants, but by the silent frequency of your presence, for you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And this is not just poetry. It is a law as unbending as gravity. The universe does not respond to your frantic cries. It echoes back the vibration of your soul. So every thought you nurture, every belief you carry, every emotion you allow to steep becomes the architect of your reality. And because wanting affirms lack, it declares, I do not yet have. The universe reflects back exactly that belief, which is why it is not wanting that manifests, but being. For to attract love, you must become love. To attract peace, you must embody peace. To attract abundance, you must dwell in the consciousness of enough, since energy cannot be deceived by words. It hears only the note of your soul, and the soul cannot sing anything but its truth. So if you live in unworthiness, no affirmation can trick the universe. You will only meet mirrors of doubt. But when you root yourself in divine remembrance, when you realize you are whole, not broken, then life bends to that resonance, and this is the invitation not to plead with life for scraps of joy, but to step into the field where joy already exists, not to reach outward for validation, but to drop inward into your own well of sufficiency, because the more you remember who you are, the more life mirrors that truth back to you. This is why inner work is sacred. It is not indulgence to heal, not weakness to cry, not waste to be still. For every release of a false belief raises your frequency. Every act of forgiveness clears space for miracles. Every choice of truth aligns you to the divine blueprint in your being. And when you align, you attract, not by force but by resonance, not by tactics but by surrender, not by proving worth but by knowing you already are, like the ocean that never chases rivers but allows them to flow, vast and still, aware of its own depth. So be like the ocean. Let your stillness draw in what is real. Let your presence do the work, for the ego may cry, I need this to feel whole. But the soul whispers, I am whole, and from that wholeness I allow. And this is not passivity but power, the kind of power that cannot be taken, for it rises from essence, and your essence is divine. You were not born to beg for blessings, but to embody them, to radiate so clearly that life meets you not with resistance but with recognition. Which is why it is time to release the chase, the striving, the exhausting belief that you must earn what already belongs to your spirit, and instead simply become. Become the love, the joy, the serenity. Because when you become, you attract, not through effort but through resonance, not by forcing outcomes but by embodying Source. And Source always responds to who you are, not to who you pretend to be. Your frequency speaks louder than words. Your energy precedes your steps. Your vibration introduces you before your name ever does. And if that energy is rooted in truth, grounded in remembrance that you are already connected, already whole, then what flows into your life will not be what you want, but what you are. You are not just bone and breath, not memory or momentum, but a silent flame, an echo of eternity wrapped in flesh, and every thought is a prayer, every emotion a vibration, every belief a compass. So life is not happening to you, it is flowing through you, harmonizing with the silent song you hum in the chambers of your soul. Ask yourself, then, not with judgment but with reverence, what song am I singing? What unseen anthem hums in the walls of my being? For that tone is what shapes your world, and you cannot hide from it. You may disguise pain behind smiles, contort yourself to fit in, silence your voice to be accepted, but the universe listens not to appearances, only to Source, and it echoes back through circumstances and synchronicities, which is why when you feel resistance, pause, not to blame, but to ask, where am I resisting within? Because life is never against you, it is your greatest ally, disturbing illusion, dismantling masks, and unraveling lies so you can return to your divine identity. You were not sent to fix a broken world, but to remember a whole self, and the more you remember, the more life mirrors clarity back. Love is not given or taken, but reflected in your openness. Money does not come by force, but through worthiness. Peace is not found atop mountains, but in the stillness of your breath. This is why you attract not by chance, but by vibration. For you are the sculptor behind the clay, the light that shapes the shadow, not a victim of randomness, but a creator in remembering. Though the ego will resist, it will shout of your suffering. Yet even your pain was not punishment, but invitation. To turn wounds into wisdom, separations into surrender, and grief into presence. You were not sent to win love, but to become love, not as an act or idea, but as a steady being so unwavering that storms bow to it, a peace fierce in its quiet, radical in its refusal to betray its essence, needing no approval, bending to no fear, rising like the sun, shining like the stars. From that place, perception shifts, life ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a dance floor. You stop resisting and begin to move with it, no longer searching for miracles but becoming one. The ego may still strive, but let it rest, let it dissolve into awareness. For home is not a place but a state of being, and you are already home. And the journey is not of addition but subtraction, peeling away borrowed beliefs, internalized fears, inherited roles, until the radiant, untouched essence of you remains, which is magnetism itself. Not because it tries, but because it is. To live aligned with truth is not a performance, but a return, not an image curated for approval, but an inner resonance so congruent that life bends to meet it. And alignment is not always comfortable. It is raw and real, demanding integrity over appearances, presence over pretense, depth over surface. Yet in that choice lies power, not power to dominate, but to live in freedom unhooked from conditions, steady in silence, undisturbed by judgment, fearless in authenticity. For from this sanctuary of self, attraction is no longer about effort, it is about energy, and energy never lies. The universe recognizes resonance. It recognizes your light. It feels your stillness. It finds you when you stop trying to be found. For you are not here to claw into abundance or hustle into love. You are here to remember you are an invitation, a beacon, a homecoming for what matches your truth. And so let the masks fall. The strategies fade, the proving end. For you are not the mask but the light behind it, not the doubts but the silence that witnesses. And when you live from that silence, attraction flows naturally. Because what you are radiates without needing to announce itself. Like a sculptor revealing what was always within stone, your task is not to create yourself but to remember yourself, to unveil the pure essence that signals so clearly that only truth can respond. And so life shapes itself not around your words but your embodiment. Affirm love with your lips but harbor self-rejection. And life will reflect the rejection. Visualize abundance but vibrate scarcity, and life will honor the scarcity. Hope for peace while carrying war within, and your world will echo the battlefield. For the universe speaks not in language but in vibration, and your vibration is your truth unveiled. To change what you attract, change what you are being, not through striving, but by softening into what is already true, by daring to trust the part of you that remembers divinity not as a being but as a state of being. Resistance, then, is only refusal to be, refusal to trust, and every attempt to force, to manipulate, to become something more whispers to the universe, I am not enough, which it faithfully reflects. But when you soften the grip of control and let the soul lead, you step into flow, no longer chasing but magnetizing, no longer surviving but living. And that is the secret to live from being, not from lack, for lack is only forgetting, and remembrance is the remedy, remembrance that beneath the roles and wounds you are awareness, presence, the eternal witness. And the more you root in that awareness, the more life purifies, attracting what resonates, not what is demanded. Like the sun that shines without effort, the flower that blooms without force, be as you are and let life respond. For harmony requires not striving but alignment, and when you shine without apology, when you radiate truth without performance, the world responds with reverence. In that stillness you become the presence that soothes chaos without speaking, reminding others of their own light by walking in yours, because the world does not need more performers but more remembers. Souls awaken to the sacredness of being whole. From that wholeness you attract, not what you want but what you are, and no force is needed, for attraction is not a tactic but a natural law, the law of vibration, the law of resonance, which declares you do not manifest by chasing but by allowing, not by becoming but by revealing. Presence is the magnet, authenticity the gravity, and nothing is more magnetic than a soul alive in its truth. And so the path forward is not adding more but shedding what is false. False identities of being unlovable, unseen, undeserving. These are echoes of survival, not truths of essence. And as you release them, wholeness emerges quietly, not with trumpets but with presence, soft, deep, undeniable, commanding not by demand but by being. This is the paradox. The moment you no longer need, it arrives. Stop chasing love, and it appears. Stop forcing success, and fulfillment unfolds. Not because you quit the dream, but because you return to the dreamer, and the dreamer is the vibration shaping form. This is why inner work is not luxury but law, the law of resonance that governs reality. So if life does not yet mirror your highest truth, ask not what to fix but what to remember. What light within has been forgotten, what wound mistaken for fact, what old story rehearsed beyond its purpose. For life does not respond to words but to clarity, to congruence, to unwavering presence, cultivated not by doing more but by being here, fully, with breath and body and awareness beyond the mind. From that presence, even silence begins to sing, even the unknown feels like home. For attraction is never about what you demand, but about what you are, and what you are is not the sum of wounds or titles or roles, but timeless awareness wrapped in breath, not becoming divine but remembering you already are. And when you stand rooted in this sufficiency, you stop sending signals of scarcity and begin to draw mirrors of your healed vibration, not because of mantras or scripts, but because remembrance changes the signal. You are love in form, stillness that speaks, wholeness embodied, and when you live from that, life aligns. Value is not accumulated by applause or diminished by failure. It is inherent, sacred, irrevocable. And once you know this, longing yields to allowing, striving dissolves into presence, and presence itself becomes the magnet. The universe does not respond to curated images of spirituality or postures of effort, but to raw truth, and truth, though often quiet, rearranges everything. It is the clarity that ends illusions, the honesty that dissolves false striving, the congruence that allows miracles. For alignment is not aesthetic, it is choosing integrity when the world demands masks, choosing depth when culture prizes appearance, choosing to hear the soul whisper, no, even as the world shouts, yes. In those choices lies the power not to control outcomes, but to walk unhooked from them, and from that stillness attraction flows. What is meant for you does not need to be chased. It recognizes you by your light, feels you in your stillness, finds you when you stop searching. You are not here to hustle for love or scrape for abundance, but to remember you are already the beacon that calls them. The universe does not respond to effort, but to essence. It speaks vibration, and your vibration is shaped not by affirmations, but by what you allow yourself to believe, receive, embody. Release the identities born of survival, of scarcity, of smallness. They served once but now limit. You are not here to echo brokenness, but to embody wholeness, which does not shout but radiates. The moment you stop needing, it comes not by accident but by law. Inner work is not luxury but necessity, for life mirrors not your surface words but your frequency. And as the fog of forgetting lifts, you see that pain was never punishment but purification, not proof of failure but a fire burning away illusion. You are not being broken but broken open. Grace was never earned, it was waiting in the silence beneath striving. So surrender is not defeat but doorway, not collapse but expansion. Let go of the shore of control, of needing approval, of proving worth. You will not drown in surrender, you will be carried home, and home is not place but realization that you never left. You are not a drop seeking the ocean. You are the ocean expressed as a drop. The sun does not question its right to shine, nor the stars their belonging. Neither should you, for you are not separate from source but expression of it. Beneath the noise of identity, the truth has always waited, patient, silent, watching, never judging, only waiting for you to remember. And now the remembering begins, not with striving but with stillness, not with answers but with awareness. In that awareness, you stop chasing love and become it, stop seeking peace and embody it, stop fearing death, because the ocean does not mourn a single wave. Freedom is not the absence of pain but the presence of truth, and truth whispers that you are already whole, already enough, already divine. You walk lighter not because the path changed, but because you release the burden of false identity. You speak softer not because you are less sure, but because truth defends itself. You love more freely not because you seek, but because you overflow. And this awakening is not a future event, but a present recognition, not tomorrow, but now, in this breath, in this presence. Within you is a temple built not of stone, but of stillness, and at its center burns a flame that does not flicker, does not fade, waiting for your return. You are not a seeker of light, you are the light noticing itself. You are not broken. You are the vast space in which brokenness arises and dissolves. You were never meant to meet the world's expectations, but to reveal infinity through your presence. Life is not a test but a dance, not competition but rhythm, and your role is not to perform but to be, to move from essence, to love from authenticity, to live as awareness. And when you stop striving to be more, you see you already are everything. Breathe, let go not of responsibility but of resistance, not of life but of the false self. The path is not gaining but shedding, not becoming but being, not improving but revealing. The self that cannot be harmed or diminished or lost is the self that simply is, and when you live from that, the walls built by fear dissolve. The soul does not clench, it opens. Miracles are not created, they are remembered. Worth is not proven but lived. The oak does not ask to be admired, it grows because that is its nature, and so is yours, to rise in your rhythm. The mind seeks maps, the soul moves by feeling, and its whispers guide by resonance. To hear them, quiet the noise of who you were told to be. You are not your past, you are the awareness that held it. You are the blank page behind all stories, the author behind all characters. Pain then is not cruelty but refinement, a sacred fire that burns away illusion, leaving gold. You are not being destroyed but revealed, not broken but open. Grace does not need your earning, only your surrender. Let life carry you as a river carries the leaf. Do not cling to the shore of needing to be understood or in control. You will not sink, you will be carried. Home is the awareness that nothing is missing, nothing is broken, nothing is lacking. And from this space you see others not as threats but mirrors. You meet challenges not with fear but stillness. You give love not to trade but to transmit. This is living without resistance, trusting the current, letting life shape you into truth. You become ocean again, not lost but fulfilled. And when you live this way, peace is not escape but embrace. The peace is not in a distant heaven but in this moment, fully alive, fully present. Every step, every fall, every forgetting was always held in unseen love. You are not your mistakes, you are the awareness that grew through them. You are not your name, you are the nameless witness. And as the fog lifts, you realize you never left home, you only forgot. Now you remember. You remember you are not here to chase light but to be it, not someday but now, not after awakening but as awakening itself. Every silence you honor, every truth you live, every breath you take ripples outward, awakening others not by teaching but by remembering. This is the revolution. Not loud but luminous, not a fight but a flowering. You not against life but as life. You are not a visitor here, you are life itself. You are the presence through which the ocean sings, the wind prays, the stars whisper. No teacher can give this to you, no book can contain it, it is yours to live. And life is waiting, always in this ordinary extraordinary now, the only doorway to eternity. Do not mistake stillness for emptiness. What feels like nothing is the beginning of everything. Clarity is not certainty but presence, the peace of allowing. The sky does not rush into night, nor the flower bloom for attention. Neither must you. You are already aligned, already part of the rhythm that moves galaxies and tides. Peel back the masks gently, love even the ego as a child, and choose truth again and again. For the soul is not disturbed by chaos, it is the space within which chaos passes. You are that space, and when you live as that, separation dissolves, love expands, and life becomes not survival but resonance. This is not concept but reality, not poetry but law. You do not get what you want, you get what you are. And what you are, beloved, is already enough, already whole, already divine.